ثُمَّ السَّبِيلَ يَسَّرَ. We made the road easy. How? Ajib. It is said that the skull, to protect the brain, which is the center of the intelligence of the human being, the skull has been made hard like a rock. So that if anything hits this head, it has to protect the brain that is underneath it. Otherwise the brain of my banda will be destroyed. But in that newborn baby that hasn't yet come into the dunya, Allah has made the bones of the skull soft so that they can merge with one another, so that the skull does not crack when the child is coming into the world. Once the head has passed that canal and has come into the world, then the skull gets hard. Inside the womb of the mother it is soft. Which scientist decided this? Who was sitting there deciding all this? لا لك سن تقطع ولا لك يد تبطش ولا لك رجل تمشي. We brought you into this world. You did not have teeth that could bite. You did not have hands that could grasp. You did not have feet that could walk. You were helpless. Previously we sustained you with blood through the umbilical cord. And that also, when his sustenance was haram, when my banda had to be sustained and nourished with haram blood, then Allah said that that food cannot go through his mouth, cannot touch his tongue, because with this tongue he has to remember his Allah. So in the womb of the mother it had to go through the navel. Now we brought you into this world. That umbilical cord is cut off. Supply is cut off. Where's the shop? Where's the job? Where's the decree? Your teeth can't bite. Your hand can't grasp. Your feet cannot walk. You are helpless. Allah has not forsaken you. أَذَرْتُ لَكَ عِرْقَيْنِ رَقِيقَيْنِ يُنْبِعَانِ لَكَ لَبَنًا خَالِصًا فِي ثَدْيِ أُمِّكَ دَافِيًا فِي الشِّتَاءِ وَبَارِدًا فِي الصَّيْفِ فَهَلْ يَقْدِرُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ أَحَدٌ غَيْرِي. Allah says, we set forth 2 streams of pure milk in the breast of your mothers. Cool in summer, warm in winter. Nothing more nutritious for that child than the milk which emanates from its mother. To this extent that scientists say that if the breast is cut open at the last point, you will not find milk. You will find a colorless liquid that on the suckling of the child turns into milk. And they also say that this child, its source of sustenance was going to be the milk that it suckles from its mother. So inside the womb, before it could come into this world, that newborn baby has its thumb stuck in its mouth so that it learns how to suckle before it comes into the world. A child that is born premature and a child that is born normal, the nutrients, the proteins, the carbohydrates which the premature child needs is more than the proteins which a normal child that stayed the full 9 months or the full period needs. This is why that the milk that comes from the breast of the premature of the child, comes from the breast of the mother of the premature child, that milk is richer in proteins than the milk that comes from the breast of the mother of the ordinary child. Who sat inside that mother and made up this milk? Allah knew that one was premature, he needed more nutrients, so that milk was richer. And the other one was born the full period, too much nutrients will harm it, so that milk is weaker. This also they say, that a newborn child, his digestive system is not fully developed. It's not fully developed. So the milk that comes from that mother is very thin. So it's easy for the child to digest it. As the child grows and the digestive system of this child develops, so automatically the milk from its mother thickens. فَهَلْ يَقْدِرُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ أَحَدٌ غَيْرِي. Is there anyone else that has this qudrat? that you have forgotten your Allah. Nasiya khalqa, you have forgotten. Am khuliqu min ghayri shay, did you come from nothing? Who created you without raw material, from nothingness, from a drop of sperm. It is said that the child that comes into the world, its starting point was nutfa, was a drop of sperm. It is said that from that time, 9 months later, when this child comes into the world, it is 100 million times bigger and 6 billion times heavier than what it was. In 9 months. And such perfection, this fingerprint, burn the finger once, the fingerprint will come back again once it has healed exactly the same. Burn the finger second time, it will still come again the same. Burn the finger third time, it will still come again the same. Allah invites you, look at your fingers. In each fingerprint there are 100 ridges, 100 lines. The ridges in the center are circular. In the side is a different shape and on the tip is a different shape. You can look at your fingers afterwards, don't look at it now. Just take my word for it. 100 characteristics Allah has kept on each finger. On the index finger, 100. It is said that to find 2 human beings, we're not whole 100, just 2. 2 out of the 100 characters, 2 lines out of that 100 are the same. To find 2 human beings that have 2 lines the same, you have to examine 16 people. And to find 3 lines the same, to find 3 lines the same, you have to examine 64 people. And to find all 100 lines the same, to find all 100 lines the same, from now for the next 4 billion years, all the human beings that live on this earth, you have to examine the whole lot. That's if we live so long on this earth. And that is only 1 finger out of 10 fingers. No eyes the same, no voice the same, no nature the same, no temperament the same. All this is an invitation to the wahdaniyat of Allah, that understand the oneness of your Allah. Who made all these differences? From a clot of congealed blood, from a drop of blood. Which laboratory was inside there? Which scientist sat there and decided all this? I am speaking to you. My thoughts are being transformed into sound. That sound is being transformed into words. And I'm uttering those words. I can utter from now till Qiyamah. You will not hear one thing if it were not for the wind of Allah. The wind is carrying that sound to your ears. In each ear, Allah Ta'ala has placed 100,000 telephones. 100,000 receptors for sound in each ear Allah has placed. That is taking in that sound. And it goes to the back of the ear, emits a vibration, and that vibration is amplified by 3 bones. 3 bones, the hammer, stirrup and anvil. Inside the back of each ear there are 3 bones. These 3 bones are set in direct proportion to each another. And these 3 bones have to be exactly the same size, otherwise my banda won't be able to hear. So a baby that's born, when it is 10 years old, when it is 20 years old, when it is 30 years old, the eyes get bigger, the hair gets bigger, the head gets bigger, the ear gets bigger, the hands get bigger, the feet gets bigger, the heart gets bigger, everything in the body grows. Because Allah has made it like that. But these 3 bones in a newborn baby and in a 50-year-old man are exactly the same size. Which scientist is sitting inside the body and telling these 3 bones not to grow? It amplifies the vibration and it goes inside to the inner ear, which has, the harps. We like musical instruments. Whereas Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah sent me to destroy musical instruments. Allah sent me to destroy musical instruments. Al-ghina'u yumbitun nifaqa fil qalb كَمَا يُنْبِتُ الْمَاءُ الزَّرَعَ. Like how when water is poured on a plant, that plant, it is Allah's system, it must grow. In the same way, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam has said, listening to music will cause nifaq and hypocrisy to grow in your heart. That is why at the time of maut, they can't say La ilaha illallah. Because they haven't understood the Deene of Allah. That harp which Allah has placed inside the ear has 6,000 strings. 6,000 strings. The size is 1/20th of a millimeter each string. 6,000 inside each ear from a drop of blood. So that 6,000 different frequencies of sound can be heard. These strings vibrate, pass the air on to 18,000 nerve cells which are transmitting it to the brain. The mind cannot comprehend the qudrat of Allah. And Allah invites us, وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Look within yourself. You will understand the qudrat, the power of Allah. That from one cell, from one drop of sperm, from one cell, He brought you forth 100 million times bigger with a body that has 100 trillion cells. 100 trillion cells. The circulatory system of this human being, it is said the diameter of this earth is 24,000 miles. The circulatory system of each human being is 90,000 miles long. 3 times the size of this earth. Where was all this in the drop of blood? وَضَرَبَ لَنَا مَثَلًا وَنَسِيَ خَلْقَهُ قَالَ مَنْ يُحْيِي الْعِظَامَ وَهِيَ رَمِيمٌ. They argue and they forgot about themselves. قُلْ يُحْيِيهَا الَّذِي أَنْشَأَهَا أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ. Say unto them, that Allah and that Qudrat and that force that created them the first time from nothingness will bring them and resurrect them in their original form again. يُجَاءُ بِابْنِ آدَمَ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ فَيُوقَفُ بَيْنَ يَدَيِ اللَّهِ كَأَنَّهُ بَذَجٌ. One human being will be brought and made to stand in front of Allah on the day of judgment. That day, he will be shaking and shivering like a little baby goat. And Allah will say, أَعْطَيْتُكْ وَخَوَّلْتُكْ وَأَنْعَمْتُ عَلَيْكَ فَمَاذَا صَنَعْتَ فِيهَا. I showered my bounties upon you. I showered my ni'mats upon you. I showered my favors upon you. فَمَاذَا صَنَعْتَ فِيهَا. What did you do? What did you do? Did you recognize your Allah? This is La ilaha illallah. This is kalima, my respected brothers. The greatest bounty, the greatest ni'mats. Allah's ni'mats are such. وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. Allah says if you have to enumerate and if you have to start counting the favors of Allah upon you, you can't do this. It is beyond human comprehension. And the greatest ni'mats, that da'wat which every Nabi of Allah came with, from Adam alayhi salam right up till Janabi Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, one after the other, each one came with one da'wat, one invitation, one basis, one ism, one foundation. La ilaha illallah. That there is no ilah except one Allah. There is only one force, one system, one benefit, one harm, one giver, one taker, one maker, one breaker. Such a kalima, Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Inna lillahi ta'ala amudan min nurin bayna yaday al-arsh. Idha qala al-abdu la ilaha illallah ihtazza dhalik. And causes that pillar of light in front of the arsh of Allah to start shaking. Allah Ta'ala says, Uskun, stop shaking. Stop shaking. That pillar addresses Allah, Kayfa askunu wa ma ghafarta liqa'iliha. Oh my Allah, how can I stop shaking when you have not forgiven the reciter of La ilaha illallah? Allah Ta'ala says, Inni ghafartu lahu, I have forgiven him. Fayaskunu inna dhalik, and it stops shaking at that time. Such a kalima. The basis of distinction That one, if he has this in his heart, he is more valuable than the world full of disbelievers. Man qala la ilaha illallah mukhlisan dakhala al-jannah. Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, that person who will say la ilaha illallah with ikhlas, with sincerity, he will enter into Jannat. Sahaba asked, ma ikhlasuha? O Nabi of Allah, you have placed a condition. What is the ikhlas of la ilaha illallah? What is the sincerity of la ilaha illallah? An tahjuzahu an maharimillah. One is when the tongue says la ilaha illallah, and one is when the heart says la ilaha illallah. 13 years in Makkah, that effort was made upon Sahaba Kiram to transmit the la ilaha illallah from the tongue into the heart. Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, whipped at night, made to lie with the open wounds on the burning sand of the desert. A rock was placed on his chest, and he was dragged through the streets of Makkah shouting, Ahad the one Allah, Ahad the one Allah, Ahad the one Allah. Khabbab bin Arat radiallahu ta'ala anhu, burning coals of fire. With his bare back he was made to lie on fire, burning coals till the blood and the pus coming out of his body would put out that fire. Ammar radiallahu ta'ala anhu used to be tortured with naked fire. His face used to be burnt, his hands used to be burnt, his feet used to be burnt. Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he would walk past, he would say, Ya nar, kuni bardaw wa salaman ala ammarin kama kanat ala Ibrahim alayhi salam. O fire, become a source of coolness and peace to my Sahabi Ammar, as you was for Ibrahim Khalilullah alayhi salam. They learned Iman. An effort had to be made to transmit this from the tongue into the heart. Today everything else we are prepared to learn. The little profession in this world we are prepared to learn. Salah we know we have to learn. Zakat we have to learn. Hajj we have to learn. Yet the greatest sabaq and the greatest lesson and the mission and maqsad and the invitation of every Nabi of Allah, La ilaha illallah, that not only are we not learning it, we don't even realize the need that we have to learn it. That there is no ilah. Nothing does. No government is doing, no job is doing, no degree is doing, no science is doing, no technology is doing. The kuffar of Makkah made the idols in Baytullah into their idols. This one gives rain, and this one gives respect, and this one gives sustenance, and this one gives this, and this one gives that. Today, Allah forgive us, we have made engineering into one idol, doctorate into one idol, science into one idol, the shop into one idol, the dollars into one idol, the rands into one idol, America into one idol, science into one idol, technology into one idol. We have made it into idols. We have placed that reliance and that trust which was only for Allah upon these things. Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam once asked his Sahaba, Ibn Kasir riwayat, Hal tadrun kam bayna as-samai wal ard. O my Sahaba, do you know the distance between the earth and the first heaven? They had made so much of effort on La ilaha illallah, so much the azmat, so much the greatness, so much the kibriyai, so much the oneness and the wahdaniyat of Allah had entered into their hearts, that no one ventures an opinion in one voice, Allahu wa Rasuluhu a'lam. Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam know best. Kalima tawheed apne marzi ke salab hone ka iqrar hai. That this declaration of La ilaha illallah, what it is a declaration that my marziyat, my desires, my logic, my thinking, my planning, my intelligence has come to an end. O Allah, what you and your Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam want, that is what I want. That is La ilaha illallah. What does it mean to make that degree into your idol, to make that shop into your idol, and to make that job into your idol, and to make that home into your idol. That in that shop, and in that job, and in that degree, when you will break the order of Allah, when you will break the order of Allah for the sake of that shop, or for the sake of that job, or for the sake of that degree, then you have made that into an idol, like the kuffar of Makkah made Lat and Uzza into idols. This is khilaf of yaqeen. Sare masla yaqeen ka masla hai bhai. The whole question is a question of yaqeen. That what is in this heart? So much we have to speak about Allah, and so much we have to invite to Allah, and so much we have to call to Allah, that only the greatness of Allah is in this heart, and the greatness of shops, and the greatness of degrees, and the greatness of jobs, and the greatness of dollars, and the greatness of America, and the greatness of Europe, and the greatness of every ghair of Allah comes out. That is the job of this ummah, to establish Allah's greatness on this earth. That is La ilaha illallah. Not lip service, that it is only Allah. يَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Allah does as He wills. يَخْلُقُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Allah creates what He wants. يَهْدِي مَن يَشَاءُ. Hidayat, guidance in the hands of Allah. يُضِلُّ مَن يَشَاءُ. Deviation in the hands of Allah. تُعِزُّ مَن تَشَاءُ. Respect is not in shops, is not in degrees, is not in wealth. Izzat and respect in the hands of Allah. Tudhillu man tasha. Disgrace, downtroddenness, humiliation in the hands of Allah. Yabsutur rizqa liman yasha. Wealth, affluence, richness, big bank balance has nothing to do with your intelligence, has nothing to do with your degrees, has nothing to do with your know-how. Unzur. Wealth, affluence in the hands of Allah. وَيَقْدِرْ. Poverty, want, hunger in the hands of Allah. قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ. Say unto them, O Allah, Malik al-Mulk. He is the owner of every kingdom. تُؤْتِي الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ. He gives kingdom to whom He wants to. وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلْكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ. And He snatches it away from whom He wants to. What happens? Happens on the will of Allah. Musa alayhi salam, a little baby, helpless, Fir'aun, sword in hand, looking at this child. Innahu qatili. This child is going to kill me. This child is the one that's going to snatch my kingdom. Allah's sifat of Hafiz, Allah's quality of protection was there. Fir'aun could not harm a hair on the body of that child. Not only that, Allah made him take out from his wealth to pay for the upbringing of this child. Innahu qatili, saying this child is going to kill me. Yet he can do nothing. Why? Because no force on this earth can do anything without the irada and the will of Allah. Ashab-e-Kahf, Those youngsters, they go into the cave. Allah puts them to sleep. How long are you going to sleep? 10 hours? 12 hours? 14 hours? 16 hours? The bones will start paining. The back will start paining. The head will start paining. Till eventually the bones will start cracking. You'll want to go toilet. You'll want to eat. You'll get hungry. وَلَبِثُوا فِي كَهْفِهِمْ 300 سِنِينَ وَازْدَادُوا 9. 309 years they go to sleep. وَكَذَلِكَ بَعَثْنَاهُمْ لِيَتَسَاءَلُوا بَيْنَهُمْ. Allah says we raised them up after 309 years. They started asking one another, Kam labithtum? How long were we sleeping? How long were we sleeping? Labithna yawman. Someone said we slept for one day. Oh, ba'da yawm. The other one said we slept for a portion of one day. No technology on this earth can stop the movement of time. Yet look at the nizam of Allah. When Allah came onto protection, that youngster, 15-year-old youngster, that went into the cave at the age of 15 and slept away. 309 years later, that youngster wakes up and comes out of the cave. His age is not 324, his age is still 15. The clock was ticking outside the cave. Allah's amr and order was, at the mouth of the cave, the clock must stop ticking. Awwal, laysa qablahu shay. He is the first, before him there is nothing. Akhir, laysa ba'dahu shay. He is the last, after him there is nothing. Zahir, laysa fawqahu shay. Batin, laysa dunahu shay. He is the apparent, above him there is nothing. Beneath him there is nothing. Concealed from him there is nothing. Aynama tuwallu fathamma wajhullah. Turn in any direction and you will find Allah. Awwal bila bidaya. He is the first without a beginning. Akhir bila nihaya. He is the last without an ending. Awwal bila makan. Allah is the first, not confined to space. Akhir bila zaman. Allah is the last, not confined to time. Time and space are the creation of Allah. One controller, one maker, one nourisher. Lahu ma fi samawati, wa ma fil ardi, wa ma baynahuma, wa ma tahta ath-thara. Ala inna lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard. Ala inna lillahi man fi samawati wa man fil ard. Alam tara anna Allah yasjudu lahu man fi samawat wa man fil ard. Everything in the heavens, everything in the earth, everything between the heavens and the earth, everything beneath the earth, every cell in our bodies, every atom in this universe belongs to Allah. It moves when Allah wants it to move. Just as the creation needs Allah to come into existence, in the same way, Allah's qasam, to benefit or harm, or move or stop moving, the creation still needs Allah. The entire creation, لا يملكون لأنفسهم ضرا ولا نفعا ولا يملكون موتا ولا حياة ولا نشورا, cannot benefit, cannot harm, cannot give life, cannot give death, cannot resurrect. One Allah is doing. That shop is not providing, the degrees are not doing, the job is not doing. To think that my sustenance is coming from the shop, Allah's qasam is to make shirk with Allah. That is why one pious person said, if the sky had to become copper and the earth had to become lead, so that not one drop of rainwater falls and not one grain grows from this ground, and for 1 second I have to doubt that where is my sustenance going to come from, then I have become a mushrik. We haven't understood La ilaha illallah. The tongue is saying La ilaha illallah, the heart is not saying La ilaha illallah. ما شاء الله كان كما شاء كان في الوقت الذي شاء على الوجه الذي شاء من غير زيادة ولا نقصان ولا تقدم ولا تأخر وما لم يشاء لم يكن. That happens which Allah wants to happen. It will happen in the time Allah wants. It will happen in the manner Allah wants. It will not happen more than that which Allah wants. It will not happen less than that which Allah wants. It will not happen before Allah wants. It will not happen after Allah wants. وما لم يشاء لم يكن. And that which Allah doesn't want, all the forces of this earth can get together, Allah's qasam, it will not happen. This is La ilaha illallah. That atom bomb, if Allah's mashiat is there, will be a bomb. If Allah's mashiat is not there, between that bomb and a stone is no difference. That shop, if Allah's mashiat is there, it will provide for you. If Allah's mashiat is not there, between that shop and a piece of paper, there is no difference. So much we have to say this. So much we have to invite to Allah. So much we have to speak about Allah and negate the ghair of Allah, that in everything we only see Allah. This was maqsad of every Nabi of Allah.